Hey everybody, the work has begun on our 2020 Jeep Wrangler JL Sport S to turn it into a rock crawler. Check on the progress and stay tuned. Normally we would have done all these installs at All J Products with the help of Quinn Thomas, who's part of our Jeep 411 channel. But they're so busy, especially because of the COVID-19 shutdowns. They're really backed up, no lifts available. So we decided it'd be an interesting project to tackle in the driveway, see how it went. And it actually went pretty well. Bill and I knocked out the suspension in one day. It took about 7 hours to do both front and rear suspension. And then when we installed the winch and the bumper, that took about 3 hours. We weren't hurrying, but it came out pretty nice. And so far, everything looks great. One of the nice things about these packages is when we did the suspension, there was one hole that had to be enlarged for a track bar relocation bracket. Otherwise, everything is bolt-on, and it's a pretty simple installation. The same with the bumper. That was a simple installation, didn't require any drilling, and it's not even that heavy of a bumper, so the installation was actually pretty straightforward. The Trekker winch comes with a hook end link. We replaced this with a Factor 55 Pro link, which I had from another vehicle, so it's a little scratched up. But we like using that because of the closed winching system. It's much safer and more effective. We haven't tried the winch yet, but we will soon. The next thing we did after we did the suspension was put on some Rubicon wheels with Nexen Roadian MTX tires mounted. It's a 35-inch by 17 tire. We'll be trying 37s at some point, fairly soon. Okay, we've also installed, and this was the most time-consuming task, we installed a 4-inch Superlift lift kit, and it was a pretty easy installation. Now the Super Winch lift does not come with a quick disconnect for the sway bar, so we're going to test these little hitch pins. These are half-inch hitch pins to replace the half-inch bolts. We'll see how they work. It should be quick to disconnect. We have one on each side. We think that'll work pretty well, and the pair of hitch pins cost us about 15 bucks on Amazon. So it's a very inexpensive way to be able to disconnect the sway bars, and as you saw in the last video, it's pretty important to do that. Coming up in the next week or so, we'll be testing this on the same terrain so we can get an idea of what kind of difference it makes. The lift kit comes with lower control arms that are a lot beefier than stock, and it improves the geometry. And the kit, an option on the kit are the King gas shocks, which so far they seem to ride really nicely. We also did the rear suspension with the King shocks. There's no sway bar disconnect for the rear because the bar is soft enough. It's not a big deal. The spring rates seem to be okay. We haven't tested this off-road yet, so we'll wait to comment until we've really had a chance to test that. The Superlift rear suspension also comes with really nice lower control arms, again to improve the geometry and make it a little bit stronger. We really love the Nexen Roadian MTX tires. We've been running them for a couple of years, and we did a lot of testing on those tires. The 35-inch tires have not really affected the performance of the vehicle too much. Now this is a Sport S, so it's got a 272 transfer case and 345 ring and pinion gears. So the 35-inch tires do make a little bit of difference in acceleration, but it's actually pretty minor. Surprisingly, with that 8-speed transmission, hasn't seemed to hurt acceleration too much. We've not done any 0 to 60 testing. We might try that down the road, but so far, so good. When we installed the Rugged Ridge Trekker winch, We learned a couple things. One is before you tighten up all the bolts on the bumper, install the winch, but again, leave the bolts loose. And then you want to be sure to run the wires before you tighten down the winch so that they get tucked in between the winch and the grill nicely. And there's 3 or 4 connections the way the wires are arranged, and you want to make all those connections before you tighten anything down, and then run the wires up inside the engine bay, but don't connect them to the battery until you're completely done with tightening all of the bolts on the installation. Looking forward to trying this winch. It looks pretty nice. It's a 12,500 pound winch, so it should perform pretty well. We'll be doing a test on that in the future. So we'll be testing some of the modifications once we get some rock sliders on. We're going to be doing a full belly pan aluminum skid plate from Rock Hard 4x4, and we'll be going to different wheels and 37-inch tires here shortly, and we're also going to be replacing the bumper with a Rugged Ridge XD bumper and a really nice tire carrier, the Spartacus tire carrier, which we'll be testing also. It's a nice looking piece. We'll see how it performs. We replaced the stock floor mat set with mats from Rugged Ridge, including a cargo area mat, which we'll show you in a minute. This is the passenger side, and these mats are actually a lot sturdier and thicker than the stock mats they replaced. The driver's side mat tucks up under the pedals very nicely, and these mats use the stock locating pins that the stock floor mats use, and they fit really nicely. We also added some grab handles, also from Rugged Ridge. The rear seat floor mat covers both sides, and it's one piece. Again, it fits nicely in the pegs for the stock mats, but unlike the stock mats, this is one piece. The stock mats are 2-piece, and they're not nearly as sturdy as the Rugged Ridge floor mats are. The rear cargo mat does a nice job of covering the carpeting and the cargo area. The Rugged Ridge cargo seat cover uses the MOLLE system for several storage bags. There's a total of 7 bags, including a trash bag, and 6 different storage bags ranging from pretty small ones to some pretty good sized ones, and a couple that are piggybacked. It's a pretty nice system, can store a lot of gear. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe, like, and share. Tell your friends about our channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.